Okay, the second part we're going to look at is cultural diffusion and indigenous groups. So we're going to look at cultural change in the Andaman Islands here. So you can see here there's a chain of islands. There's about 500 islands, right? Not all of them are inhabited. Okay, governed by India, closer to Thailand, just off the coast of Thailand, all right? So the history is that basically India, a British colony, used to send in the 18th century its prisoners. It was a penal colony, so that means that you're sending prisoners to this island here. All right, so if I look in 2019, the population's grown to just over 400,000. All right, and that's because of migration, infrastructure, and basically tourism as a result. So we're going to look at two different groups here. The ones I have in yellow, the Jarawa tribe, you can see here in the early 1800s, they used to reside and live in the early 1800s down here in the south. Obviously, there's been some development in this area here. This can be linked to tourism. This can be linked to migration. And then they've been displaced here. Now, having development here would also mean that there's been more cultural contact as a result, especially tourism here. So we're going to look at the Jarawa tribe and how they may have been affected. And the other one here in red is the Sentinelese on the North Sentinelese Islands. Now, they're not having any cultural contact, all right? So we've decided basically that we should leave them alone. It's estimated there's around about 40 to 500 people. We're not really sure because no one's been on the island to count, all right? So when people have tried to actually make cultural contact with the groups here on the Sentinelese Island, it's been very hostile and quite violent, which you can look at later. So as I said before, around about 500 chain of islands, all right, and a penal colony. So we used to send prisoners there. The British colonial government would use this basically to jail prisoners from the mid-18th century onwards. All right, Ross Island there with the arrow, that is where we have, first and foremost, our jails. All right, so again, what we've started to see since the mid-1800s is more non-Indigenous settlements setting up. And that means that we've displaced a lot of our local Indigenous tribes, our Jarawa tribes there as well. All right, so if I do have a look at the growth, I can see we've grown quite a lot from 2011. The population was estimated at 343,000, and then in 2019, over 400,000. Now, if I go down here, as I said, the one in red on the previous map, the Sentinel Island, the North Sentinel Island over here that doesn't have any cultural contact in 2012, it was a huge estimate. They're not sure. We can't get their count between 50 and 400. Now, if I look at the main chain of islands here, not the North Sentinel Island, what I've seen is a huge growth in tourism. This means that we've got a lot more cultural contact, a lot more migration also because jobs are creating in the area. So a lot of people have migrated from India, and then a growth in tourism. You can see all around the main island, not the North Sentinel Island. There's a range of things to do. Now, this is a tourism map, unfortunately, right? So we've had a lot more tourism on the island here. So the range of things that you can do, right, linked to water, fishing, that type of thing. But it's also, as I said, meant more jobs, so more development, larger settlements on the southern part of the island in particular, displacing and increasing cultural contact. So you can see the types of things we've got on our chains of islands now, all right? Now, unfortunately, as a result, that means tourism and culture, all right? So the Jarawa tribe now, you can have a look at this here, are exposed to a lot of tourists who come out, and we are looking at whether or not this is ethical or not. We're seeing a huge rise in human safaris, right? So what I want you to do is just take about 5 or 10 minutes, make a list, research the impact tourism has had on the lives of the Jarawa tribe in the Andaman Islands, all right? Because this is having a huge impact on how they live. A lot of people don't agree with the human safaris, all right? So we have built a huge trunk road, so that's the main road here. So what I want you to do is go through and research the development that has taken place on the island and the number of migrants, the number of tourists, and how this has had an impact on the lives of the Indigenous tribal Jarawa people on the island. Spend about 10 minutes actually on that task there. Okay, Now you've done that one, we're going to look at the Sentinelese tribe. All right, now they're the most isolated tribe in the world. All right, now again, this is different because when you would have looked at the Jarawa tribe, you would have seen that there's a lot of cultural contact, a lot of changes. This group has no contact. Whenever we've tried to make contact, it's not gone down very, very well, right? You can see that in a few videos that I've put in the folder for you. Okay, so again, the most isolated group in the world. They are resisting change, right? They are known for being quite fierce, and any time anyone has tried to make contact, it hasn't ended well, all right? So basically, we have decided that we should leave this group alone. I have put a number of videos in the folder for you that I want you to look at. I want you to look at the 4 videos that are in the folder. Then I want you to research all the ways in which the Sentinelese have resisted change and cultural contact, all right? As I said, it is basically estimated that there aren't many of them left, and it is the right thing to do to leave them alone. So what I want you to do is research the ways in which they have resisted change, and then look at the 4 videos that are in the folder for you.